I would love to introduce our next presenter. She is no stranger to CANNA World Expo. Oh, no, no, no. Elisabeth Mack has been with us for a few sessions, and I would love to take this opportunity. I know I've taken up some of your time, Elisabeth. I'll make sure you get it back. And if you would kindly just take it away, let everybody know a little bit of your background, what you're doing, and kindly share your presentation with CANNA World Expo and the world today. Take it away.
Well, thank you, Jessica. Such a great thing to follow, a testimony of how and why cannabis works for medical patients, for people that are struggling, that are fighting different diseases and conditions. You know, bringing it right back to how cannabis is so important, you know, just really warms my heart, and it's wonderful to follow. So I'm going to share my screen here. I've got a little bit of a presentation, and hopefully you can see that. Okay, cool. Well, so yeah, my name is Elisabeth Mack, and my company is Holistic Caring, if you can see this, and we are doing cannabis case management and education with patients, as well as certificate programs for cannabis and healthcare professionals, and really trying to make a difference in how we're interfacing with this industry. It's also really fascinating for me to follow Debbie from ASA, because Americans for Safe Access has always been one of my guides. And everything that they're working on, it's like I get to pick up. I'm the next step. ASA is fighting for a national and federal and state level of getting access to patients. And then I'm helping to get people to be able to use this as a medicine and understand it. So again, my name is Elisabeth. I have a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. I spent my first 10 years in hospitals. And then after my MBA, I spent the next 20 years in insurance companies in operations and sales. And so I was an insurance company executive for a long time until I crashed my bicycle. At the end of 2014, I went out on leave from my position at Anthem Blue Cross to have some surgery. And a week or so after that surgery, I was at my chiropractor office, and she said, have Denise work out your shoulder with a medical massage. And this woman was using CBD in the oil. And I said, hey, what is this? It smells funny. And she said, it's cannabis. And I said, well, why are you putting cannabis on my shoulders? She goes, well, because it's going to help reduce the inflammation, lessen your pain, and help you get back to that pre-surgical arm faster. So I said, okay, sign me up and tell me more. I had never heard of the endocannabinoid system. I had never heard of medical cannabis. And I was one of those people that thought it was just for recreation and that there wasn't any validity to this. And I went home that day to the library and started checking out every book I could on cannabis as medicine and growing and all of the things that you need to know about cannabis. And I said, wow, this is amazing. I'm going to start applying this to myself. And I started to take CBD oils. And before you know it, I didn't need as many Motrin. And then I got my card. These people that I connected with were working with the Medican office here in San Diego. And next thing you know, I get my card, and then I'm going to dispensaries, and I'm asking them how to use it specifically for medical conditions. I said, I've had fibromyalgia for 25 years, ever since the first shoulder surgery, because now this was the third one. And they told me in conventional medicine, just take the Vicodin, just take the Motrin and the Flexeril, and just stay sick. And I said, I want a different option. So how do I use this clinically? And I wasn't able to get a whole lot of guidance. And of course, this is January of 2015. Even here in San Diego, we only had like pot brownies and flour. And the system has developed a lot since then. But what came to me is that people are making medicines, people are selling medicines, but nobody's interpreting them for patients. So at the beginning of 2016, I founded Holistic Caring, and I said, okay, I'm going to apply my research and my own self-healing principles and everything I had picked up along the way, and to create a system to help patients. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 5+ years, bridging the gap between conventional and cannabis medicine for patients, and teaching them how to use medicine clinically, and the way that I do. Not necessarily to recreate and for pleasure, as Debbie alluded to, but really to heal and to use medicinal properties. So I do serve on the board of the American Cannabis Nurses Association. I'm the treasurer of that organization. And then also LA Normal, I'm the director of health, and the California Cannabis Chamber of Commerce. So I have a lot of things going on. But going back to the patient, to me, everything's always about the patient. The patients in America are in distress, and how much is conventional medicine truly helping? Knowing that we're spending $3.5 trillion in healthcare, maybe it's 3.8 at this point, 18% of our GDP, and we're still ranking 42nd in outcomes. Most of us in America have some kind of chronic disease, 1 out of 2. And so if you look at this chart, we're struggling with chronic pain. 1 out of 4 people have that. PTSD, anxiety, insomnia, they kind of all go together. Autoimmune conditions and dysregulation within our systems with inflammatory issues causing so much wrong with us. And then neurological, autism, epilepsy, neurodegenerative, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS, all of these conditions are something that we don't have answers for in conventional medicine. And so the question is, can the endocannabinoid system and the ECS modulation help us with these chronic conditions? My answer is yes. When I crashed my bicycle, I had a dozen different pharmaceuticals a day. Medicine for blood pressure, all gone, depression, sleep, even asthma, migraines, and then all of the inflammation and muscle relaxants that I was taking. And so when we think about eat, sleep, relax, forget, protect, this is a term by Vincent de Marzo that he coined about how important the endocannabinoid system is and why its health matters. So if this system's working, then we are healthy. If our ECS is not working, then we're prone to develop chronic conditions. Because the endocannabinoid system is the master regulatory agency in our body, it brings us homeostasis and balance in the body, regardless of the system. So cardiovascular, neuromuscular, digestive, immune, all of our systems are responding to the endocannabinoid system and how it's supposed to keep us in the checks and balances, giving us this feedback to make constant corrections within the cell through retrograde signaling and basically feedback. So if the endocannabinoid system's not working, it's as if you're having a conversation with your spouse and the flow of the dialogue is going one way. You have to be able to have feedback, and that is what this system does in our body. And when it's working, it's fixing systems at the root cause, helping all of the downstream issues. So when we have a rogue immune cell, it develops cancer. When we can fix it and fix that communication, now we can influence that cellular level of health, regardless of what's going on in the body, which is why cannabinoids modulate this system. Our endocannabinoids may not work, and we can supplement with the phytocannabinoids. That's the craziest thing about this system. When I really first started learning about the endocannabinoid system and how pleiotropic these molecules and compounds are when they get in the body, helping us to not just repair that initial system that had the glitch, but then fixing everything downstream, which is why, I went from 2,000 milligrams of Motrin a day to now taking maybe 1 Motrin every few days. So when we take these phytocannabinoids into the body, THC and CBD are the 2 main components of the plant that we think about. THC can actually activate CB1 and CB2 receptors to bring us back into balance. And these are the receptors that were identified when they were first studying the endocannabinoid system and how cannabis and CBD and THC work in the body. And you put THC in as we light up like a Christmas tree. And so these molecules and compounds are active all over the body. CBD acts more of an assist, not necessarily modulating CB1, CB2 directly, but it activates about 50 other receptors throughout our body and helps us make more anandamide, our own internal endocannabinoid. And so the exciting thing is that the endocannabinoid system modulation can resolve structural issues over time, and that there is hope for these chronic conditions, for cancers and immune system and neurodegenerative conditions and autoimmune conditions and some of the chronic insomnia and things like that, and getting people to practice stronger self-care with cannabinoids as part of their treatment plan. An integrative treatment plan that has lifestyle and functional medicine, nutrition, sleep, movement, connection, speaking up, setting boundaries, spirituality. These are the things that help us practice stronger self-care. And so I bridge the gap between conventional and cannabis medicine with functional lifestyle medicine and cannabinoids to really heal people. So why isn't cannabis an option for everybody? Why are we still looking at those 36 states and not seeing A pluses everywhere? And what can we do to get all 50 states on board with this as a solution? So number one, obviously, federal illegality. We need to deschedule this plant completely, take it out of Schedule 1 and allow it to have a different system. We need to have clinical research to provide protocols for exactly how these cannabinoids work. And we're years off from that, but there are starting points to this. Healthcare professionals don't think they can talk about it. I can't tell you how many healthcare professionals I'm trying to go to and say, hey, I've developed a system to train you. And they're like, no, we can't talk about it yet. Cannabis is still a drug of abuse. And of course, there's no insurance coverage to pay for it. So while we're expanding access through ASA and NORML and all of the organizations that I'm supporting, we also need to get back to the insurance companies. And I do plan to do that, to say, let's do a cost-benefit analysis and some demonstration projects where we can give CBD through employer-sponsored coverage to like half of the employees, maybe 100 life group, and 50 of them get CBD. Then let's track the efficacy that we're getting on all of these disease specifics and pharmaceutical spending on blood pressure and metabolic issues and sleep and pain, and try and lower the costs on that side and start proving that these variables of cannabinoids can really make a difference. So we're going to do that. And then dispensaries are set up for adult use and wellness. Wellness is one thing, using this in micro doses to achieve your goals and objectives, but also dispensaries are really like, they're shooting fish in a barrel, especially here in San Diego, California, where people are just walking in wanting to recreate. And what's happened is that the medical products that we need to see on the shelves are disappearing in favor of wax and dabs and shatters and juice and drinks that people are using for adult recreation. And so that's all leads into the products being confusing. And then, of course, trial and error that the patients have to go through can get expensive, and that really needs to have dosing refinements in a clinical setting, because when you take healthcare professionals and you give the guidance to patients through a system of really doing an assessment, a treatment plan, implementing that treatment plan, evaluating where we're getting, what's working, what's not, where do we need to make adjustments, that gives the patient success, efficacy, and then retention. And so they're going to not say that CBD bottle didn't work, I'm moving on and going back to the pills. No, we're going to continue to sculpt them with a treatment plan that brings them success. But the problem is that no one is really aware of the availability of real programs. It's hard to get what I'm doing out to the marketplace because of a host of problems. Mainly social media marketing and just being able to talk freely about cannabis as a healthcare therapeutic option. So, what we're doing here over at Holistic Caring is really trying to bring this knowledge and education to patients, to professionals, to the public at large through our learning library. I've got presentations in here and podcasts and what we're doing to bridge the gap. I always talk about the NOVA presentation because that was the nursing organization for the VA who I spoke to last year about mitigating chronic pain and PTSD in veterans. So, I'm wanting to work with every association I can to really give a 1-2 punch to go back to the VA and say, this is something that veterans need access to. We need affordability. We need programs that are going to help them be able to use this in lieu of polypharmacy and these drug cocktails that aren't helping them. So what we're doing, the most thing that I'm excited about is our self-guided healing programs that are all launched on our website. And these are CBD cannabis medicine educational healing programs where I have recorded a 60-minute lecture on a specific condition and what's going on with that condition, and then how cannabinoids can really help to bring back wholeness and healing, or at least to reduce symptoms with each one of these conditions. And what I've created is a recorded lecture through Zoom similar to this, but then they also get a PDF of the slides with all of the references that built that presentation, so they can go deeper and look at the research on why and how cannabinoids can work for that. Then we're giving these patients a digital guidebook. So my patient teaching guidebook, which brings them through asking the questions on how this can work for them, talking about how to understand that the basics of the endocannabinoid system, the different cannabinoids, terpenes, routes of administration, dosing for each route. If I have cancer, how am I going to use cannabinoids with inhalation? When would I use edibles? How can I mix and match those to have short-acting, long-acting pain management and reduction of my anxiety? How can I use different tinctures and sublingual oral routes and understanding all of the variants in the tinctures? And when do I use CBD and when do I use THC? And so we teach them all of that. And then best practices along with holistic guidance on how to change their diet, how to use an anti-inflammatory diet, how to use cannabinoids to take a walk and get out and see the clouds and the blue sky and dream a little bit and relax. So holistic health really needs to be coupled with this. And I try to teach them how it's not just the cannabinoids or the pharmaceuticals, but we're going to bridge all of these together to give you best healing. And then we give them a patient forum to discuss their condition and use of cannabinoids with everybody else that might be on this journey. So we have these programs all built out for cancer, chronic pain, and how to wean off opiates with the exact protocols to do so, Alzheimer's and understanding dementia, Parkinson's and MS, mental health, autoimmune conditions, autism and epilepsy, and then CBD, especially with holistic wellness. So these are all launched on the website, and the value that we're bringing to our partners in the industry is that holistic caring will help you build the medical door. We were talking about this with Debbie, Tasha, and I a couple of weeks back, that dispensaries need a medical door. The adult use recreation is just fine. It always needs to exist, but we need a true medical door to help the patients that really have medical issues be successful. So, when we work with dispensaries, we tell them we can help you expand sales to the medical patients that really have a lot to gain and money to spend at your store, but they need extra hand-holding and support. So we've got your back. We're going to help you with our cannabis industry professional training. So Holistic Caring has complete programs to train dispensary sales staff and people that are working in the back, people that want to work in labs and any different cog in the wheel of the regulated markets. And then we have our CBD wellness certification for CBD shops, and then dispensary and industry consulting marketing copy. How do we help you better storytell what kind of products and solutions you might have for medical patients in discussing the condition, how cannabinoids work for that, and then bundling up some of your products that we can then take to the patients and help them understand that there is a process that we can work together. And then my RNs that do telehealth across the whole country can help dial it in and optimize care. I have an appointment today where I'm going to be working with a 7-year-old who has cancer, helping that patient and their family approach this system, knowing how to get the doctor recommendation, knowing the qualifying conditions, knowing the product mix, and what is going to be sensible for a starting point with any patient. We're ready and willing to help with all of this. So, and then in order to help us spread the news, I've created an affiliate system where we're working with people to help them bring revenues to their business just by helping us share the good work that we're doing. So I created a robust turnkey affiliate program with an online dashboard where you guys can create banners and social ads and website links and email messaging with a full library of customizable PDFs to rotate out the messaging on the different patient programs, affiliate opportunities, and professional programs for industry as well as healthcare, and then auto commissions. And then I put this into insurance contract commission schedules the same way that I used to run sales at Anthem Blue Cross, basically incentivizing people for higher volume. So if you have a website with a lot of traffic, you can do well with earning passive revenues just on a daily basis, just ching, 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 to your website, to your email marketing. Include what we're doing in your email, send that out, have people click on these patient programs and dispensary training programs and professional healthcare training programs if you're interfacing with healthcare industry, and then we will help you do well, and you help us spread this message. So Holistic Caring is creating an ecosystem of care for patients, for healthcare professionals, dispensary professionals, and our self-guided healing programs to really be that solution to bridge conventional and cannabis medicine. And we're doing all that we can. So with that, I will stop this share and see if anybody has any questions.
Oh, absolutely. Elisabeth, thank you so very much. I'm going to start with the first question and then I will hand it over to Tasha and Charles. However, this one is, I'm finding that I'm encountering a lot of those older than myself, older patients who are just beginning to explore cannabis. So what advice do you have for those older patients who are now just discovering cannabis, medicinal cannabis, I should say, not just recreational, medicinal cannabis? Thank you.
Well, correct. And when I started this in 2016, I was marketing Holistic Caring to other healthcare professionals, and I really found an affinity and synergy with a palliative care integrative practice here in San Diego. And he sent me out to see all of his patients in a home care setting. And the first thing that I had to do, and when we say palliative care, we're almost always by definition looking at 60 or 70 plus, right? Really people in their 80s. First thing I have to do is say cannabis is not one thing. It's not that you have to smoke a joint. So let's get that off the table. The next thing you have to understand is you don't have to be high. So you don't have to be intoxicated. Elders really fear a loss of control. They fear that they're going to get worse. They fear, I can't even tell you how many stage 4 cancer patients that tell me, Elisabeth, I don't want to get addicted. I'm really worried about this. I don't want to be high. I don't want to smoke. I don't want to get addicted. I don't want to lose control. And then when you're saying, okay, what I'm going to talk to you about is how we're going to modulate a system that's biologically active in your body, that's going to help you feel better with balance. And we're going to do this slow. And we're going to take this a week at a time. And we're going to modify things so that you find success and efficacy and you are in control. I also teach them that, for 35 years in medicine, we've been talking about patient-driven care. There is no patient-driven care in conventional medicine. You take these pills and these are the results, and they might work and they might make it worse. With cannabis medicine, they truly are in control. They get to say, what they want and how much CBD and how much THC and how to learn how to read their body, which is the other hard thing to teach seniors. Listen to your body, tune in, understand cause and effect. When you take this, what are you feeling? Because I make them track it. I make them chart it out, and we work together. And my follow-up calls, it's all about how are you truly feeling and doing, and are we moving towards favorable outcomes, or are we finding any kind of hiccups along the way? And what's happening with your blood pressure and your blood sugar and some of the other things? And for cancer patients, what's happening with the scans and the MRIs and the lab values? And are we getting advancing the ball, or are we not? And when I literally look at them and say, take my hand, I'm going to help you through this, they're like, oh, okay, I'm ready. Let me sign that release and let's get started. So, it's all about the process. And this is what I've done and created over the past 6 years. And, I couldn't be more excited that I do believe that we're truly getting to the point where federal legality is going to fall, and we're going to have greater access and greater conversations with this coming into the next evolution. So sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
Thank you, Elisabeth. Charles, I would like to hand over the questions and with you.
Okay. Good to see you again, Elisabeth. Your book includes case studies for medical cannabis efficacy. You reference one patient taking 8 Percocets a day. What can you share about that case?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite cases. Post-stroke central pain, very difficult to treat. And, just going right to the opiates, when somebody's taking 8 oxycodone a day, or Percocet, or Vicodin, or even morphine, what's happening in the body is something called opioid-induced hyperalgesia. And what happens is the brain, it short changes how effective that dose of opiate is. So you need more and more to get efficacy. What happens when cannabinoids are introduced into the body in that situation is that they're cross-stimulating the receptors, and all right away, that patient is feeling like the opiates are too strong. What a beautiful effect, right? So we're able to bring those down to 6 almost immediately, and then almost to 4 within a couple of weeks. And now you're taking, instead of 2 4 times a day, you're taking 1 4 times a day. So better pain management and less side effects. And what are you doing when you're removing opiates? You're improving cognitive function and clarity. You're giving them energy. You're giving them less constipation and digestive issues. And they're functioning better. And then they get to start working on the other things, like speaking up and setting boundaries and looking at some of the emotional reasons why they're holding on to so much pain. But that case, within 3 months, she was down to just 1 opiate a day, and that's what she stayed. In fact, she was able to cut them in half and take half of a dose in the morning and half of a dose in the evening. And that's fine, because she's always going to have pain. You're not necessarily wanting to remove them down to 0, but you want them to have a quality of life and an impact where this is working. And so case by case, we can do this. And again, what the other important thing that you need is the prescriber of the opiates to be on board. And I was able to speak with that physician and say, this is the game plan, and get them to understand how to use this. But on the cannabis side, we use tinctures, we use a vape pen, and we use microdose edibles. So think about 5 milligrams, and this is, as well as topicals, right? And working with some topicals. So this is how we stack medicines so that we're lowering tolerance in any one, and having some kind of a regime where we're getting automatic dosing of the cannabinoids, so that we're able to really work in a 1-2 punch to reduce the opiates and give that person back their life. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You typically find the doctors willing to work with you?
They're very curious about this, and yes, they are, because they have to care about the patient. If the provider really cares about the patient, then they will be on board. But they're just like, okay, I'll do my side, but I'm not touching the cannabis. I'm not talking to them about the cannabis. I will do my part on the opiates, de-prescribing, but they're not going to do anything with the cannabis. So that goes back to why me and my team of nurses is so needed, so that we can provide the guidance on the cannabis side. And being a clinician for 35 years, I understand both sides of the pharmaceuticals and the cannabinoids and the products that are available on this side. And so it's a delicate balance. But again, going back to federal descheduling, then the providers are going to be much more willing to fully learn this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Tasha, to you.
Tasha, do you have any questions?
Yes, and then this one will go nicely to blend in with Amy's presentation. So you have your book, Cannabis for Health, Become a Coach. Why did you use the word coach as opposed to something like expert, professional, guidance, something like that? Why did you choose coach specifically?
I chose coach because that's what I call myself. This all goes back to setting up my firm back in 2015. And working with an attorney saying that this is not medical guidance. I cannot be medical guidance. I'm talking about a Schedule 1 property here of this medicine, and this is a medicine for the people. This is not just a pharmaceutical FDA approved thing. This is a botanical formulation that is for sale over the counter with in dispensaries. So like going back to here in San Diego, people have access to walk into a shop and buy anything they want. The problem is they're not getting medical guidance, nor should they, from that dispensary. There has to be coaches. There has to be people that are willing to step up and say, hey, I'm willing and able and competent to provide guidance to them on a coaching basis. And again, going back to personalized medicine and patient-driven care, they're in the driver's seat, but when they take that self-responsibility, they need somebody to help nurture them and guide them through the process. And that's what coaching is. What is your goal? One of the things I always start with when I have a patient assessment is, tell me what you're looking forward to in the next 3 months. And I'm going to help you get there. And you give them that desire to live, that hope and inspiration, along with the protocols and treatment plans of here's our starting points and safe titration schedules to get you there. And that is coaching. It's not necessarily medical advice. So because of Schedule 1 restrictions and dialogue, and then because of this whole process of over-the-counter access to this botanical medicine and this very special plant, it is coaching. So yeah, and this started everything. So this book, Cannabis for Health, Become a Coach, is on holisticcaring.com, and then all of our programs stem from there. So professional and patient programs all came out of that initial start of that book, and so this is my life work in progress. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Elisabeth. Wonderful, wonderful. We appreciate you being with us here on CANNA World Expo, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.